Welcome to the channel. If you've been following along, you'll know that we added a new RV to our fleet. This is our Flagstaff 21DS, and with a new camper comes new gear. And in this video, kind of wanted to give you an overview of the gear you need when you start out RVing, put a cost to it, and I also want to explain why we bought what we bought. There are some things that I would consider must-have, some items that are nice to have, and we'll talk about that as we go through. Before I get into all the items I have laid out here, there's two items in the front that I want to talk about. Both of these I'd put in the nice-to-have category. Number one is the safety breakaway cable. These come factory with a long uncovered cable. I like these here that are coiled up and covered nicely. They look nice and they just kind of tuck out of the way a lot better. Then I like to get a cover for the power tongue jack. That extra protection is nice, but there's also spots to hang your safety chains, and also you can tuck the power cord up into there as well. Okay, you have to have your camping chairs. Because we rent this out, we tend to go inexpensive and pretty basic on the chairs. We don't spend a lot of money there. Up next, let's talk water hoses. I like to use these flexible 0G hoses, and I'll get two 25-foot sections. And along with your water hose, you'll need a water pressure regulator. I have this connected directly onto the hose, so our renter doesn't forget to use it. And then I keep the hoses in this flexible bag here. On our Grand Design, we use the plastic basket style, and I really like those, but our camper here has some odd shaped storage bins, so I had to get something a little more flexible. And because we rent this out, I like that it is clearly marked. Should be easier for the renter to find and put away. So along that line, I also have one for the electrical cord. So your camper should come with its own power cable there. But I also suggest buying an extension. There are times when your original power cord is not going to be long enough and you're going to need an extension. And then our third storage bag here is for the black water gear. I carry two sewer hoses. One is a 15-foot hose that I store in the back bumper. And then I also have a 10-foot extension. Keep the extension and then the adapter here that would attach to the hose and then go into the drain port. And then I'll also have a second hose, and this is for the black tank flush, which most modern campers have now. And again, different colored hose, so it's clearly identifiable. Black hose, black water; blue hose, drinking water. Next to that, these portable garbage cans. Really nice to have. I really like that they fold down so they store really easy, and then they're waterproof. It's really nice to have an outdoor garbage can at your campsite. Next up, it's a good idea to have a tool kit with. Now, this is obviously subjective, and because we rent this out, I don't have a very extensive toolkit, just kind of some basics, some items that I found to be handy in previous trips. You know, basically, you know, tape, a set of screwdrivers, flashlight. This is a water flow meter, and this is nice to have, borderline must have. I love this thing. This will show you exactly how much water is going into your tank when you're filling up that potable water tank. And then a couple items. This is a drill adapter for putting down your stabilizer jacks. This gear is so new, I haven't even opened it yet, but tubeless tire repair kit, mini hammer, adjustable wrench, zip ties, and some paracord. There might be a couple other items that I'll throw in there, but for now, that's kind of the basics. Back to electrical. This is an adapter that allows you to plug your camper into 110. We have this parked in our driveway all summer. I'll keep this plugged in all the time. Basically, you can operate everything in the camper except the air conditioning when it's plugged into 110. All right, let's talk about some leveling gear. Now, these are stabilizer jack pads. And this year I upgraded to these nicer flexible rubber pads. In the past, we kind of used the cheap plastic yellow ones, but I'll tend to use these every once in a while. You'll need a little extra height underneath your stabilizer jack, but I also use them quite a bit. We have these solid steps, and they have adjustable legs, but every once in a while you get a weird campsite where you might need to put something extra on one of those legs, and those work great for that. And because they're rubber and flexible, I think they just give a little more stable platform for the steps, and I think they just look nicer. For wheel chocks, that's another upgrade we did this year. Obviously a must-have item. And in the past we've used these cheap plastic chocks. They work okay, but we do damage them every once in a while. You can actually drive your camper right over one of those and destroy it. So this year I went with an upgraded heavy duty rubber wheel chock. We have 4 of these, and they're a bit heavier, a little more bulky, but man, they do a really good job. And again, just kind of that subtle black. I think they just look nicer. In this little storage bag here is a leveling kit. Let me pause it, take it out and show it to you. So these are what you use to level your camper side to side. The old traditional way to level your camper was on the low side. You get a bunch of blocks or boards and you drive up and down until you got to that perfect height. With these, you pretty much put each one of these ramps underneath the back of the tire, and then you just back up until the camper is level, and then you use the red one here to chock it into place. Now this is just kind of a cheaper knockoff brand that I found on Amazon. Now traditionally we were using the Anderson levelers, and those are kind of the top of the line high quality American brand. I went with these for 2 reasons. Number one, they are a lot cheaper, but 2, this has a very narrow wheelbase, so I needed something that was a little shorter to fit in between these back wheels here. With the Anderson leveler, you can tell they're quite a bit longer. I just didn't have the space to make those work. So this aftermarket brand works pretty well for our needs here. Most travel trailers are going to require a weight distribution system, and we've been really happy with the setup from Anderson. It's lightweight, it's easy to use, it does a good job with weight distribution, and it has some anti-sway protection. We've been using it for 3 years on 3 different campers now, and so far pretty satisfied with it. And last but not least, you'll need an outdoor rug. This is a 9x12, and here's one area where I found it's best to get something a little more quality, even if it costs a little bit more. Obviously waterproof, dries out really easy. It's kind of this woven plastic material. Looks nice. That's one area where you don't want to skimp. So there it is. That is the gear you need when you are starting up. Total cost I'll list down below. That's the outdoor gear. We'll do a follow-up video on interior accessories. Otherwise, stay tuned. We got our first rental of the year coming up next week, and we'll start getting back into our Is It Worth It series on RV rental. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.